You know, I feel like I actually might finish this build this year. Welcome back to the Skilled Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 31 of What's on the Bench Weekly. If you're not familiar with this show, it's where I take you through projects that I'm working on. Some take longer than others, and some are worth waiting for. Hopefully this is one of those. The CUCV is back on the bench again, and there has been some significant progress. I've actually been working on this truck off and on for the last few days, and I wanted to have something to actually share with you in terms of an update. Fancy that. As you can see, there is now a front bumper on there, and this front bumper is really accurate to the actual ones, which I'm so happy about. I am using the existing RC four-wheel drive front bumper, but I have grafted on this brush guard, I guess you would call it, or grill guard. This is very unique to the CUCV line, and it is very standard. It's like the one thing I think never changed on any of the models ever. And it's one of those little things that I'm happy I was able to put together. This one is designed and then 3D printed, so it's not brazed out of metal. I am considering going back and doing that later on if I decide that maybe I need to make a change somewhere and I don't feel like I've done enough. That might be one of the things I do. But for now, this was a super easy design and print to do. I did prime it with some filler primer. I gave it a good sand beforehand, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty accurate. In fact, I've got a photo here that I printed out from the internet. Let me see if we can match that up. Wow, that's almost like to scale. That's crazy. So there's that one, and there's mine. Pretty good. The only thing I'm missing are the D-rings, and I will be adding those because gotta be accurate in these things, right? You can't just half-ass it all the way through. So we'll be doing that. There's also a few cutouts and stuff in that one. But yeah, we'll get really close, if not totally accurate on that. This one doesn't have a license plate, but we'll add one. Maybe a Ford Evy one. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the look of that. And it wasn't a difficult design to do. If you are new to Fusion 360, there are a lot of really excellent tutorials online, and that's something that I would highly recommend you check out because while you can get started and sort of muddle your way through that program, you really do need to have some tutorials under your belt so you can really take advantage of all the powerful features of that software. There is a free version, so you do not have to pay for it like I do. But I will say that it has changed the game entirely. 3D printing and design have just absolutely made this hobby so much more accurate. And without those things, I mean, you could still scratch build all of this stuff, and that's fine too, but this just kind of saves some time. And when a build's taken as long as this one has, time is of the essence. Definitely. There are some other subtle things that have changed since the last time. Most of the interior is finished now. The bench seat has been sanded and primed. The door cards have been sanded and primed. The inner structure where the shifter will go, that's been sanded and primed. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, one other thing. The side windows, I'm going to have those as if they are rolled down. We'll just put in the forward glass. I just trimmed this out of the existing window. I just like to have, that filled in so it doesn't look wrong. There you go. That's what that'll look like. Excellent. It's clear, so you probably can't see it all that well. And of course, we've got the mirrors that'll go on there as well, and then that'll all be wrapped up. I do have to take the decals off the dashboard so we can prime that. And then there's just a few other... Oh, right. One of the other things that was bugging me was the air cleaner. And on the Mr. Comedy motor, it was sitting up a little high. Not higher than it should, but high for how this body places with the C-Max kit. So I just trimmed... Let me see if I can remove this real quick. I needed that air cleaner to sit lower, so to do that, I literally chopped out the inside of it, and now it just kind of friction fits itself over the carb and sits much lower like I needed it to. Perfect. Another little attention to detail done. On the back of the truck, I've started working on the resin cast tail lights. These need a fair bit of sanding in order to fit properly, but they are on their way. And yeah, a few other things, minor things now. We're getting close to the finish line on the CUCV, which is pretty fantastic. I have decided to go with a camo paint job. We'll find one that's period correct for a Canadian CUCV from the late 60s, early 70s. And then we'll do the undercarriage as well. Oh, speaking of, there is a gas tank around here somewhere. I think I left it upstairs. One second, I will go get it. And here it is here. This is actually from Richard, my friend Richard, Turks and Jerps. He made up a bunch of vacuum-formed proper gas tanks for his old Chevys. And this one isn't exactly accurate. I've cut it up a little bit. It's supposed to be about that much longer and have more surface area. But the way the C-Max is laid out with its undercarriage, this was the only way I could do it. And mine is supposed to have dual tanks, but I only have the one of these. So that's just gonna have to be how it is. And that'll sit right under there in the general area, or close to the exact area where it's supposed to sit. We'll glue it in there probably and make up some mounting straps so it looks even more accurate. And all of that attention to detail is an excellent segue into this week's sponsor, Gentle Bands. Gentle Bands are the makers of fine rings where each piece is uniquely designed and crafted with precision and care. From bold and rugged styles to sleek and modern designs, they've got something for every taste, whether you're into plain, fancy, or something in between. As a scale RC model builder, I understand the importance of attention to detail and quality materials like titanium, cobalt, gold, and more. They've even got rings, and I'm not even kidding about this, they've even got rings that glow in the dark. They're luminescent. It's pretty crazy. This ring here is the Pluto, and it's crafted from titanium. It's lightweight, durable, and really speaks to me. Because it's obviously a comp ring. Each ring can be custom engraved, so if you're getting married or getting this as a gift, it can be even more personalized. They've even got a great sizing guide on their website, so if you are unsure about what size your finger is, they've got an excellent resource that will tell you exactly what size you need to order. I've never been much of a men's jewelry kind of guy. I don't have a lot of gold chains, but I always wear my wedding band. And that's because whenever I'm at a comp, I need to let all those single ladies at the RC events know that I'm taken. I am off the market. It's always great to have a little variety, and it's nice to change it up every once in a while. With that in mind, I'm excited to share a special discount code with all of you. Use code Matthew25 at checkout and receive 25% off your purchase. Visit gentlebands.com to check out all the styles, and thank you to Gentle Bands for sponsoring this video. Okay, back to the show. Next on the bench this week is the Skeeride 2, and you can see there has been some significant progress. These parts take forever to print. There's a lot of supports and a lot of bits that go into making these parts look so good. I'm printing everything at 0.20 layer height, which is quite low, but it is for the sake of quality. I really want this to look good and professional when it's all done. I was even going to consider using the resin printing goo technique where I actually smooth out all of these pieces so they don't even have any layer lines. But these are already looking really smooth. Like, they don't even need to be painted. I think that looks fantastic. So there's already a lot more parts printed. I actually got the ball ends that I needed today for the actual suspension, so I think I'm going to probably hit that after this episode's done being filmed. But man, oh man, there's so many parts that have been printed now. I keep everything in this box over here. We've got the skis now. Look at that. Keep watching the skis. They look fantastic, don't they? This is another Prusament print as well. Their filaments are just the best. I also started printing the tracks as well. Now, this is in TPU, and TPU is a flexible filament, which gives it, pliability, and it'll actually be able to like move around and stuff. But I think the Prusa's defaults for TPU are a little bit hot. It almost felt like I was boiling the filament rather than actually using it at its proper temperature. So we're gonna adjust that. This was just a test to see how it works, but you can see it does look pretty good. Now that's an aggressive track. No joke, right? That'll move this thing around no problem. We've also got some covers for other parts. This goes on this side, I believe. I think this covers up the belts and stuff. I think this actually, yeah, it does. It goes right there. That's how that goes. So more parts to print, of course. Gosh, I don't even want to consider how many hours of printing I've done, but it's a lot, and a lot more to come. Thankfully, there's no sign of snow ending. But yeah, I'm really quite pleased with how this is starting to come together and look like a snowmobile now, finally. But yeah, I think the goal today will be to get the front suspension all dialed in and put together, and then move on to more printing later. Printer's not going right now. I wanted to give it a rest because this front clip, these two pieces here, combined, that's probably 18 hours of printing, maybe even more, 19 hours probably. So there's a lot of printing time invested. Good thing I've got a good printer. I think that's probably going to do it for this episode. Not a quick one, again. I don't know why I ever say this is going to be a quick one. They never are. But lots of progress happening on two of my more favorite builds right now, which is really great. I think next week we've got a ton of TRX4M and AX24 upgrades to cover, so it'll be a mini episode, even though it's probably going to be full length anyway. Thanks again to Gentle Bands for sponsoring this week's episode, and we will see you again next week.